And good morning. Welcome to The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben, and thank you for joining us. Our number today and every day on The Bright Side, 844-236-6010. We love hearing from you. If you have questions, comments, success stories you'd like to share, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, there's so much to talk about in the world of health. We live in a health-obsessed world. For some reason, our obsession with health has not translated into real health. We live in a health-obsessed world, but we're the most unhealthy culture in the history of the planet. How ironic is that? There's magazines and internet posts and websites and TV shows and TV news stories all dedicated to health. Health, 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 everywhere. Health, health, health. We've got so many health radio shows and podcasts. It's impossible to calculate how many, thousands upon thousands. Yet, at the same time, we are so unhealthy. We're the fattest, the most cancer-ridden and diabetes-ridden and chronic disease-filled culture in the history of planet Earth. Irony of ironies. The Bright Side is your clarity. It's your podcast of clarity into this morass that we call the world of health. And we love hearing from you, 844-236-6010, and we love clearing things up. If you have questions, comments, or success stories you'd like to share, 844-236-6010 is our number on the Bright Side. If you want to purchase longevity products, head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can purchase longevity products right off the website. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team off the website as well, or you can call 866-735-2470 if you want to be part of the billion-dollar nutritional supplement business. If nutritional supplementation has helped you or your loved ones, if you're an entrepreneur and you like the entrepreneur lifestyle, you want to be your own boss and determine how much money you make and work as many or as few hours as you like, the entrepreneur lifestyle is awesome. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. You have to be brave. Uncertainty reigns, but you know what? Uncertainty reigns everywhere. So it's no more uncertainty than just being alive. So face your fears, be an entrepreneur, be your own boss, take care of your own financial as well as physical health and well-being. Click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com. We can help you build your business. I can personally help you build your business. Click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or you can call 866-735-2470 for more information. Our number today, 844-236-6010. We'll be talking to Jeannie Cisco Meth about her book, Bullyproofing You, Improving Confidence and Personal Value from the Inside Out. Yes, from the inside out. Being healthy is an inside job. Being physically healthy is an inside job. Being psychologically healthy is an inside job. Inner game. We want to learn to develop inner game, and the best way to learn to develop inner game is to become obsessed with it, or at least focus on it on a daily basis. Being obsessed with it's the best. If you're obsessed with inner game, you are going to be an inner winner over time. If you become obsessed with upping your inner game by reading books, by meditating, by focusing and contemplating, by being productive, by helping others, if you focus on inner game, you will be an inner winner in terms of health, in terms of wealth, in terms of quality of life. And when you're an inner winner, it is inevitable that you will be an outer winner as well. All right. 844-236-6010 is our number. We've been talking about lipofuscin and melanin, pigment, the spots of the dark spots that appear lower in the skin and that have a lighter color, lighter brown color, we'll say, brownish, yellowish color, almost like a slightly yellowish tinge. Happens with older folks, especially in their hands and their arms sometimes. But the hands are really a major place on the outside part of the body. Lipofuscin, as we said, this pigment is called lipofuscin, is also deposited in the heart. It's also it's a leading cause of heart disease. Lipofuscin itself, as we've said, is not only a sign of disease, it's a cause of disease. It's a cause of bodily breakdown and degeneration. It shows up in the brain, it shows up in the heart, it shows up in the nervous system. But the most obvious place, obviously, is on the skin, because that's where we can see the skin. We can't see the brain. So the problem is because lipofuscin is a pigment, but it's confused oftentimes with regular pigment. Regular pigment is melasma or melanin. Regular pigmentation, hyperpigmentation, is called melasma. And it's the result not of cellular aging debris, but rather of melanin, pigment, tanning pigment. Because most folks aren't aware of the difference. Sometimes lipofuscin will get treated as if it was melasma, and you won't get very far because lipofuscin is deep. You can't take care of lipofuscin topically. You got to move the lymphatic system, as we've said. You've got to move your body. You've got to deep breathe. You've got to practice various lymphatic drainage techniques, including lymphatic massage, which you can get done by an esthetician, or you can do dry brushing, or you can do hot and cold plunges, or you can jump up and down on a rebounder. Taking care of the lymphatic system is the best way to deal with lipofuscin. On the other hand, melasma, you got to treat topically. Melasma is actually, melasma is actually shows up on dead skin cells specifically. And speeding up the removal of dead skin cells with exfoliation is a great technique for getting rid of melasma. In fact, it's probably your best technique. There's also topical agents you can use. If you go to a pharmacy or you go to a doctor and then get a prescription, you'll probably get something called hydroquinone. Hydroquinone is a very effective anti-dark spot, anti-pigmentizing agent. It doesn't work on the dead cells. It works on the living cells. Exfoliation works on the dead cells. It kind of helps the dead cells slough off of the skin. Hydroquinone works on living melanocytes. Remember, cyte means cell, melano means melanin. Melanocyte is a cell that makes melanin. Hydroquinone works right on that melanocyte. It poisons the melanocyte, essentially. It poisons the pigment-producing chemistry inside of a melanocyte. This is a standard, typical way that drugs work. This is how drugs work. They poison cells, suppressing biochemistry. All prescription drugs, if they're going to work, are going to be cytotoxic. That means cell toxic. Remember, all disease is cell disease. So does it make sense to anybody out there to use something that's cytotoxic to get better, to get healthy? No, it makes zero sense, which is why I do this radio program and I'm not at Kmart filling prescriptions, because I couldn't live with myself doing that. How can anybody who's dedicated their lives to helping sick people, helping sufferers, think that cytotoxicity is beneficial? It is absurd to me. So anyway, hydroquinone is effective, but it's cytotoxic, like almost all drugs. Like all drugs, not almost, like all drugs. Hydroquinone is cytotoxic. It is poisonous to cells. Yes, it works. And all drugs have a certain degree of cytotoxicity. Yes, this is true. But hydroquinone on the list of toxicity is very toxic. That's why you don't eat hydroquinone. You can't eat hydroquinone. Hydroquinone will kill you if you eat it. And so you use it topically. And, I know you're not eating it, but do you really want to put something that's that toxic on top of your skin? And by the way, yes, it works. And it works very well. I'll tell you a quick story about hydroquinone when we come back from our break. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll get to your calls when we come back from our break as well. We'll be back right after this. We are back on The Bright Side, 844-236-6010. We'll get your calls here. I'm going to, got a bunch of calls, so I was going to read a couple stories here. I'm just going to tell you one headline that is really cool, and then I'll get to it. We'll have to get to it on our next Bright Side episode because I want to get to the phone calls. Psilocybin matches SSRI for moderate to severe depression in Phase 2 study. Phase 2 study is an advanced study. So this was a small study. Nonetheless, it was only 59 patients. Nonetheless, the fact that a mushroom has the same effects as an SSRI drug, and they forgot to say one more thing, no side effects or toxicity with the mushroom, lots of side effects and toxicity with the SSRI, it just demonstrates the hijacking of healing that has been done by the modern medical model, not doctors. I'm not blaming doctors. This is not a doctor issue. I always got to say that because I have a lot of good friends who are doctors, and I've got a lot of my clients are doctors, and for the most part, doctors are wonderful, good, kind, helpful, service-oriented, really angelic in many cases people. And I do not want anything I say to be perceived as an attack on the doctor himself or herself. But the modern medical model is so twisted and so evil, it has hijacked our ability to heal ourselves and access to our ability to heal ourselves. How dare the modern medical model do that? Limit our access. How dare they? You know how many people are in jail because they tried to use mushrooms medicinally? Or for that matter, cannabis, which is now, of course, becoming, as mushrooms are soon going to be, becoming more normalized and legal. I did want to read that article, and I did want to read another one or talk about another one. We'll have to do this on our next Bright Side episode. Let's hit the phone so we get to everybody. Shirley in Florida.
Hey.
Good morning. Hey, Shirley.
Hi. It's
Are you my friend Shirley? Are you my friend Shirley that uses Truth Treatments? Is that you?
Absolutely.
And you have the wonderful hair. You have a hair place, right? You do hair.
I do.
Yeah. Well, give it a plug real quick. I know we got people out there in Florida listening.
Yeah, in Jacksonville, Fran's Beauty Supply. Anyway, I got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I wound up with shingles. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, well, this is real weird. Okay, I'll make it quick because I know you're busy. I did this thing called fascia blasting. Okay, I know you know what that is. Okay,
I do.
I did it too hard, and I know that what gave it to me.
No, I don't. No. I love how you said you know that, though. You said you know.
Well, the only reason is because it said so on their website that if you do it too hard, that could be a side effect.
Oh, is that right? No,
Yeah.
you have to be prone towards getting shingles. And maybe the fascia blasting. Now you use a tool, right, for that?
Yeah.
Fascia is so amazing. You use it on your legs, on your body, on your torso.
I use it on my body, but I did it too hard on my stomach, and that's where I got it. It started to get real tender. Okay, well,
you got the shingles. I see. You got the shingles in the same area you did the fascia blasting.
Yeah.
I see. That's why. Okay, I got you. Okay, so there's a lot of neurology. There's a lot of neurology in your belly. Next to your brain, probably there's more neurology than in your belly than anywhere else. So, shingles is a neurological issue. It's an immune issue. It's when the virus attacks the nerves, the shingles virus. The shingles virus is a herpes virus. And by the way, I'm going to give you some tips for taking care of shingles. Everything I'm telling you is going to help take care of all viruses. You get what I'm saying? All viruses.
Okay.
I don't want to get censored off Facebook, so I got to watch what I say. So, selenium, must have. Zinc, must have. Vitamin C, high doses, must have. These will all speed healing, and they'll protect you from shingles and other viruses. I'm going to talk about this later, maybe a few days. Tyrosine, an amino acid, very important for the immune system. Tyrosine.
Lysine.
Lysine, absolutely. Lysine isn't necessarily an immune system, but it helps balance out or it robs viruses of certain amino acids. There's a balance between lysine and arginine, and they love arginine, and lysine kind of neutralizes arginine. So lysine, yes, absolutely.
I learned about the arginine because it can help spread it if you're not careful, right?
Yes. But that doesn't mean you don't want arginine. Arginine, it's just the virus, like your own cells, likes arginine. Arginine's a building amino acid, so you still want arginine, but you want to kind of work with your immune system so everything's balanced out. And then staying away from sugar as best as you can, and that includes bread and processed food. And you've got the shingles, so you got to go through the process, but you'll speed healing. Okay?
Yeah, because it's almost gone.
I would even fast for a couple. Yeah, I would even practice some fasting, maybe for a day or so.
What about lymphatic massage?
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely.
Love you. Right, good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, let's go to Tony in Live Oaks. I wonder which Tony this is. Tony.
This is a Tony that you know very well.
The Tony. Where's Live Oaks?
Yes.
Where's Live Oaks?
It's right next to the KSCO radio station, and I'm 86 going on 45. But I've tried fasting. Fasting for the first time in my life. I've just come off of last Sunday was the last time I ate, and last night was the first time I ate. So it's 4 full days, and my main motivation was to try to lose some weight, but also to get slipped into keto, which would help me lose weight. And I don't seem to be able to get into a ketogenic.
Do not underestimate how magnificent you are and how good a job you're doing.
Well,
do not underestimate. I work with people all the time. I've been working with people, older folks, for many years, Tony. You're a rock star. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're responsible for getting me started because you said, I just heard you a few months ago say it's okay to take your supplements. Well, I've been taking longevity supplements since I was 77. And by taking the supplements, there was absolutely no problem staying off food. I have been off sugar completely for a long time. But I've also been remodeling my house, so on my ladders and on roofs and stuff. And people think I'm like 50 or 60.
You're beyond the beyond. You're the most amazing 80-plus person I met many that I've ever met. And you're an inspiration to me personally and anybody who hears your story. And I'd love to tell your story. It's amazing. Tony's 86. Go ahead.
I need your information.
What do you need? What kind of info? You're doing great. The fact that you could fast.
What's next?
No, forget next. Stay the course, buddy. So I'm telling you. Tony, stay the course.
Do I keep fasting? How often do I fast? Because
as often as you
no
want.
idea.
As often as you want. You cannot fast. It's too easy, right? You cannot fast. You can't overdo it because unless you're, pathological, because your body will make you eat. Or, unless you live in a place where there's no food, your body will make you eat. Don't worry about it.
Are you ketogenic yourself? Because I'm trying to get there.
I mean, I'm intermittently ketogenic. I'll eat only one meal a day, and then I'll stop maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon one day, and then start again maybe 11 or 12 the next day. Or I space out my meals a lot. In fact, I have a gal who I work with, and she's a trainer. Her thing is you got to eat all day, and you got to eat after you work out. You must eat, and I'm always going around and around with her. You can't fast too much because your body will make you eat. You'll feel miserable. You'll go into a place where you're really high, and then your muscles will start to break down. You don't want your muscles to break down. Yeah, nobody has. Your body won't let you unless you're in Africa and there's nothing to eat and you're starving like that.
I went 4 days with no problem.
Isn't that amazing? That's how. Yeah. Tony, listen to me. Eating is for kids. Did you hear what I said? Eating is for kids. You get it? We don't need people. You're a little older than me, but once you reach a certain age, we don't need to eat anywhere near as much as we think we do. But the problem is we live in an economy, in a world where the empire depends on us eating. And in fact, all right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, that's all the time we have for now. We've got a guest coming up the bottom of the hour. We'll talk to Jeannie Cisco Meth, her book, Bully-Proofing You, Improving Confidence and Personal Value from the Inside Out. We'll be back right after this with Jeannie Cisco Meth on the Bright Side. Okay, we are back on the Bright Side. Thank you for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. We also have longevity products at brightsideben.com and a Join the Team link that you can click on, brightsideben.com, as well as pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com. All our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. We got videos on our websites as well as health stories, news, blog posts, and news stories, and all kinds of good health information, as well as the longevity products. And Join the Team link that you can click on if you want to start a home-based business, helping change the world at the most fundamental level there is, which is the level of good health and nutrition. We can help you build your business. You can also call 866-735-2470. Also, don't forget to check out our Truth Skin Health products, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for helping folks deal with skin problems and to prevent post-surgical scarring. As it turns out, when you heal the skin, you beautify the skin, which should come as no surprise to anybody who's listening to this program. Health equals beauty. Beauty equals health. Thus, our 1,700 plus 4- and 5-star reviews, which you can check out at truthreviewed.com, truthtreatments.com for our Truth Skin Health products. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. All right, I am so excited to speak to our guest today. She's going to speak, she's written a book, and she's going to talk to us about a subject that's near and dear to my heart, as you guys know, the idea of inner game, working on your inner game. Her book is called Bully-Proofing You, Improving Confidence and Personal Value from the Inside Out. From the inside out is the key. And Jeannie Cisco Meth in her book Bully-Proofing You nails it. Thank you so much, Jeannie, for being on the Bright Side.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and your whole idea of inner game, I love that concept. I mean, you don't call it inner game, but that's what you're talking about here. There's a quote, which I don't know who originally said it, but it's very subtle and very hard to understand for some folks, but if you dive deep, it really says it all. We don't see the world the way it is. We see the world the way we are. Right? You've heard that quote. Yes. And that's exactly what your book is about. Bullying is obviously it's a big issue. It's in the news. And invariably when a kid shoots up the school, he's been bullied. There's a price we pay for bullying, and bullying is endemic, and nobody goes through high school, or very few people will say, go through their high school lives without being bullied. But you have an interesting take on bullying. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. The problem that I see is not always what people say, but how we take what people say. And if we continue to replay it over and over in our head and give it more power, and it gets worse and worse as we continue to listen to it. And that is, in my opinion, the most devastating part. We have people that say nice and encouraging and courageous things to us, just like we have people that say bad things. Problem is human nature is to focus on the bad. And as we focus on the bad, we get more of it and we see more of it. And so that quote that you started us off with is exactly true. We see things as we are. So if I'm an angry, grumpy, upset person, that's what I see, and that's what I attract.
How much of that, I call that voice, the default mode network, I'm sure you've heard that term. It's like our inner voice. And I had to kick my mother out of my head when I was like 25 years old. I remember doing that. How much, I literally did. I'm not kidding you. I said that because my mother was very disempowering. God love her. She's a sweet lady. She didn't know she was doing that. So I'm not ripping on my mom. But she didn't know she was doing it. She was disempowering me. And I know her voice, you can't do it, was in my head. And I knew it. I heard it when I was 25. I say, you have to leave now. How much of that voice is our parenting? This comes from parenting.
It comes from, some of it comes from parenting, some of it comes from teachers, some of it comes from coaches,
authorities,
basketball player. So there's a lot of people that it comes from. The question is, and we allow people to put labels on it. It can come from peers. It can come from anywhere.
How about the culture? How about the culture?
Yeah,
the culture does it to us too.
Yeah. You read it, you see it, you hear it. It can come from movies. It can come
Isn't there a
everywhere.
reason for it? Isn't there a reason? Doesn't it keep people in line?
So yes, there's mixed feelings on that. One is we want people to toe the line, so to speak, in society. Comply, yeah. And there is definitely a need for that. If everybody is running around, we can slip into anarchy very quickly.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope, though.
Go too far.
It's a slippery slope, right?
Yeah,
It can go too far. There's a story about Deepak Chopra tells a story in one of his books. He says, if you take, it's not a story, but it's like an experiment. If you take flies and you put them in a jar and put the top on the jar, they'll try to fly out and they'll hit the top of the jar. And then after a while, if you take the top off the jar, they won't even try to fly out because they've learned. And so in a way, it's in the culture's interest to keep people like flies in a jar, so that they can take the top off and people stay in the jar. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And so it breeds a culture of sheep.
Yes.
And that's kind of a problem.
We need to question. Yeah, it is. It's a big problem. So there's a good side to it. And just like anything, if you have too much of it, it's a bad thing. It can go bad. So I had a friend once who decided all she was going to do is eat carrots, because carrots were good for her. Well, then she started turning orange.
Okay, all right. There's a line. There's a line there. Where does love and self-love, love of other and self-love fit into the equation?
So self-love, self-respect is that I respect myself because I am a daughter of the Most High God. I respect myself because I am a son. I'm created. I'm made. And so I treat myself with respect. And when I respect myself, that respect can flow out to others. If I don't respect myself, if I don't respect my life, how am I ever going to respect someone else's? And
That's
we
awesome.
see a lot of that in our society right now.
Yeah, rather than teaching kids to comply, we should teach kids to self-respect. And then they'll comply.
Correct.
Right? So we should,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of ordering them to comply. I know a lot of broken people whose parents, who are good people, but their parents wanted to keep them in line so much that they broke them. And that's really the problem. We have kind of a broken culture here. So where does this idea of you have a really cool quote in your book from Viktor Frankl. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the line that there's a space between action and reaction, or between something happening to us and how we react to it. And so you got to leverage that space. Talk to us a little bit about that, and then the idea of belief and perception, where all of that fits in.
Yeah, there's this. There's a stimulus. Something happens. And then there's a response. But between those two things, there's a space. And in that space is my power to choose my response. A lot of people think that something happens and they just respond out of habit. But if you can slow that down and go, okay, what is my best response here? Somebody calls me a name. Somebody is angry. I have a core belief that hurt people hurt people. And when I remember that.
Say that again? Hurt people hurt people?
hurt people
I like that.
for people.
I like that.
So when somebody's yelling at me or attacking me, I remember, it's not about me, it's about them and their pain. And so the bad book review or the comment on social media, and I say, this person's in pain, how can I help?
That's awesome, because social media makes it so easy to be a bully in a way, because you're invisible and you're anonymous. So social media is really, we can talk about that when we come back from our break, what social media has done to the phenomenon of bullying. Also want to talk about belief and perception. We've got Jeannie Cisco Meth with us. Her book is Bully Proofing You. We'll be back on the bright side with more of Jeannie Cisco Meth right after this. Don't go away. Okay, we are back on the bright side. We're talking to Jeannie Cisco Meth. Her book is Bully Proofing You. Jeannie, you talk about taking charge of your life or taking charge of your reality, as you say, by taking charge of your thoughts. It sounds great, but how do you take charge of your thoughts, especially considering that itself is a thought? Taking charge of your thoughts. So how do you get right? How do you take charge of something that seems to always be taking charge of you, no matter what?
Great question. The first thing you have to do is become aware of your thoughts. They've done quite a few research, and they believe that we have about 40,000 thoughts a day, of which 60 to 70% are negative, and most people aren't even aware of it. You know, just like you said, at 25, I had to get my mom's voice out of my head. Well, It was there that whole 25 years. But at 25, something happened that make you aware of it. So awareness is the first thing, becoming aware of what you're saying to yourself.
No, but hang on, though. I don't know how I became aware. It just happened. All of a sudden, I recognized it just happened. I didn't do it. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's just, there's like grace or something that's just involved. I just said, hey, wait a minute. That's you. That's my mom in my head. How do you get to that point? Or is it just developmental? Or how does somebody get to there? How do you get there?
Well,
you can't make it happen.
What I do is I have my clients carry a little notebook with them, and they have an alarm that goes off at random times. So sometimes it'll be 10 minutes, sometimes it'll be 23 minutes, and they write down the thought that they have in their head at that moment. And then at the end of the day, they look at them and go, oh my gosh,
that's great.
My mom's in my head.
How often is mom in the head? I'm sure it happens a lot, right?
Yeah.
Mom or dad?
Mine was coaches.
Yours was coaches. Okay. Your mom and dad, you didn't have your mom and dad? Are you sure they weren't lurking in there somewhere?
Yeah, they absolutely were. You know, and I started shifting their voices from the negative voices, the critical voices, to the positive ones.
That's wonderful.
Because those were there too. The positive was there too. The problem was I was focusing and hearing the negative.
I love it.
In elementary school, they told me I was too stupid. I'd never make it through school. I had so many learning disabilities. And so it was really easy to hear those voices when I sat down to write my first book. And I stopped that.
That's all. You know, I named my voice. You know what I named it? I named it Harry the Hypnotist. Harry. Isn't that good? Harry puts you. He puts me in a trance. I noticed that I go into a you go into a trance, and it's a hypnotist. This is, I don't know if you know anything about hypnosis, but this is literally hypnosis. We are hypnotized by Harry the Hypnotist, by an inner hypnotist we have, right? And you can change that voice. You could be hypnotized to be great, just like you be hypnotized. If you can control, right? You can have a hypnotist that talks to you. You're awesome, Jeannie. You are the best. You can do it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
You know,
I tell people, coach yourself. Coach yourself.
Coach up yourself.
You know, imagine. Yeah, coach yourself up. Would you say the things to other people that you say to yourself?
Yeah, that's great.
99.9% of the people are like, no, I would never say that.
Yeah,
that's to yourself.
Yeah, isn't that ironic? We would never treat somebody outside us like we treat us inside ourselves. It's okay to treat yourself lousy, but it's not okay to do it to other people. That's kind of weird, isn't it?
It's not. Yeah, it is. It's not okay. Treat yourself with respect, and you will treat others with respect.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. So give us some hacks. if you have any hacks, because I'm 100% on board with what you say. I use everything you say in my life. I bullyproof myself every day, and it is an everyday thing. You have to keep doing it because the bullying pressure the bullying pressure on the outside is so intense. You got to have this powerful inner game. You got to work it out. You got to exercise. Nonetheless, I keep confronting this issue, especially when I talk to people, that it's hard to do it. That you can't just say do it. You can't just say control your thoughts. There's got to be ways that you can hack into the system, that will allow you to do it with more frequency, with more regularity, with more intensity, without having to just say, discipline yourself. Because you can't do it. It's really difficult to do. What are some good hacks?
It's the system. Yeah, the good hack is, first of all, become aware. So become aware of what voice is the loudest in your head that you need to stop. Become aware of it and then stop it. So when you hear it, because once you hear it, once you're aware of it, you're going to hear it. And then you say, whoa, stop. And then you replace it with the one that you want. And so I have declarations that I say. So true, full transparency. Before you called me, I was like, oh, my gosh, am I going to be able to do this? I'm like, whoa, stop. I can do this. I know what I'm talking about. I'm an expert here. And so I started coaching myself. And I have a set time every morning that I wake up, and while I'm brushing my teeth or I'm in the shower, I start coaching myself. This is going to be a great day. I've got beautiful things on my schedule today. I'm going to go do this, and it's going to work out beautifully. So I start creating my day before I ever start living my day. That's the hack.
Is this because you're an athlete? You have this athletic background that you understand that you're kind of living your life athletically? Like life is a performance. Like you're a performance athlete just by living life, right?
Well, yeah, life is a performance. Too often people sit back and let life happen to them.
Yes.
I decided at a young age, am I going to listen to those negative voices? And am I going to live a life that people look at and go, oh, you poor thing? Or am I going to live a life that people look at and go, wow, how'd she get that? I want that. Yeah. And I remember making that decision and going, that's the life I want. How do I get that? And I started reading. I started listening, to podcasts just like this one, those positive and uplifting voices and books. And I started implementing everything that I could so I could create my life and live the life of my dreams instead of what was handed.
Were you already an adult when you kind of had this epiphany, or you changed things, or was this? How did you?
Yes.
Yeah. So you got over
after my second divorce.
Oh, you had to go through 2 divorces, huh? Took you 2 divorces.
2 divorces.
Yeah. And you said, wait a minute.
What in the world?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. I've had 2 children, one from each marriage. I do not want this to repeat. What's going on here?
That's awesome.
And I really started seeking, and now I've been married to the love of my life for over 18 and a half years. And people ask us all the time, are you guys newly married? Are you on your honeymoon? And we're like, yes, 18 and a half years, baby.
Wow. So you're born again. You were born again.
Yes.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
You had that's what it means to be completely new, to be a completely new person. So you had a wake-up call, or something happened in your life, and you used it as a wake-up call. What was the first book, by the way, that you read that kind of woke you up?
The first book, the Bible, absolutely, diving into the Bible and remembering that I am special. There are over 400 passages of faith, and there are 365 passages of do not fear. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's one for every day of the year, and I'm living in fear.
Wow, the Bible is so inspirational. The Bible gets a bad rap. People misunderstand, but it's probably the best. If you had to pick one book to have, it's probably you couldn't do much better than the Bible as far as inspiration goes, and as far as how you live your life. The New Testament, particularly the New Testament. Yeah. Although you could use the Old Testament that way too. It is really wonderful. Have you ever read any Eckhart Tolle?
Yes, the power of now is one of the ones, that being in the present moment. So often I'll go into the future and be afraid, or I'll go into the past and be afraid. And I'm like, wait a minute, Jeannie, right now, you're perfectly fine.
They don't exist. Right now, this now, you have everything you need. It's all right here, right now. Yep. And there's no future or past anyway. Those are all just constructs. There's no, They don't even really exist.
Right.
We live our lives in this construct that doesn't even exist. That's what worry is,
and the decision I make right now creates my future. And so if I'm worrying about the future, I'm more likely to make a mistake now. Because when emotion is high, intelligence is low. And so if I'm making an emotional decision, I'm more likely to screw up my future.
That's right,
so
to make an unintelligent.
Bring that emotion down, then I can make good decisions.
Look at how we are as a culture because of that. But I still get back to I think we're encouraged to do this. Why is the news the way it is? The news is like like negative hypnosis and, Harry gone crazy. Right? Isn't it? Why have we created a culture like this? What's up with that?
I think it's because our mind, the human mind, is great at finding fault or finding mistakes or finding fear. Because that's how it kept us alive.
That's how it survived.
We had to
There's
survive.
A lion there. You need to know the lion more than you need to know where something positive is. That's very good. Jeannie, we're out of time.
So oh, man, all righty. Thank you.
That went by fast. Jeannie Cisco Meth. Her book is Bullyproofing You. You can get it on Kindle and Amazon, all those places.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good deal. You have a website real quick?
Get it.
Real quick, what's your website?
Bullyproofingyobook.com. There's a whole home study course there with videos and a workbook that go along with it.
Awesome. Thanks for being on the bright side, Julie. Julie Cisco Meth. Her book, Bullyproofing You. That's all the time we have for today on the bright side. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to you later, folks. Bye for now.